Now, one concern we have often had that associations often have very lean marketing or technology staff in-house, and most of them are not experts either in marketing or in technology. So, who are the people who should be involved in technology management in the association?
Yeah, I think it's no one person, that's for sure. And I think that's a real interesting trend. Actually, we were just part of a docu-series that was developed within the association community called Jobs of Tomorrow. And we were involved in one of the episodes, and it was all about this changing role of IT. And the role of IT in associations is changing, and it's changing dramatically, right? Because of cloud-based solutions and the use of what's called software as a service, which is like, what you and I would operate, where it's like, you don't have to install it or anything. It's just cloud-based software that you use and that we're all super used to using today. So the role of IT is evolving a lot, right? And it's more around vendor management and making sure tools are working together within an ecosystem. So I think, a lot of associations don't have internal IT. Like, I think that's a reality. We see a lot of different models from smaller staff organizations that don't have any IT at all to more maybe mid-sized associations that might have a person in IT or that is kind of the IT savvy person on staff, all the way up to large IT departments, right? Like, there's such a huge variance within the sector depending on the size of the organization. But I think what's really changed a lot is that, you want the staff who are going to be using the software tool to have responsibility for that tool. So and you want them to be involved in selecting it and managing the ongoing relationship with that vendor. So have your events team be heavily involved in choosing the events vendor. Like, IT shouldn't be doing that. And you could bring in an IT consultant, you could maybe get some validation and help, but the events people should decide, as long as the right questions are being asked about integrations and stuff. Then, so you want departments or the person leading that area of the business to have some responsibility because you're not, with modern software, you're not running upgrades, and it's a different type of vendor management. It's a relationship. And if you have a question, you can reach out to support online and usually get an answer. So technology has evolved so much, and the relationship of association to vendor has evolved a ton too. And so I think at the end of the day, it's about empowering people to own those relationships across the organization and not have to have it all funnel through IT. IT, whether it's an outside consultant that you work with or your internal group, has a role, of course, to oversee. You're going to have certain, depending on size of organization, you may have certain requirements around data governance, data security, depending on size of organization. And IT will have opinions and thoughts there about, certain baseline requirements the systems need to make. But I think it's a bit of a misnomer that the idea that this type of ecosystem approach versus having the one AMS vendor that you can reach out to. I would argue strongly that it's better than, because if that one, it's a single point of failure with your AMS vendor, and which is quite common. If you're not getting great support from them, well, now you're stuck and you're not getting good support. All of these areas of the business. Whereas if you have just, if you're not happy with, the vendor you're using for events, well, guess what? Change your vendor, and find one that provides better support and provides a better system. So it comes back around to that flexibility. But I think it's a role that changes. I'd be happy to share maybe afterwards, Farhad, the link to that episode. It's a docu-series called Jobs of Tomorrow, where we have a specific episode about the evolving role of IT in associations.
And I guess Jeff, you mentioned this as well. I had this as a question to ask you, but you already mentioned this. So good technology should always be frictionless. It shouldn't get in the way of what you're doing. So if an association staff is trying to do something and the technology is the barrier, then by default that is a bad technology, right? So good technology should kind of be frictionless, get out of the way, and be the catalyst to empower the person to do more and focus on the task. Right? So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We've talked about that a bit, but yeah, it should not be getting in the way. It should be helping. It should, it should feel seamless and easy to use, and it should be reducing friction, not creating friction. I think is another way to look at it. So, technology can make your job easier, make your life easier. I think, unfortunately, within the association sector, there's been a lot of not so great experiences with technology, and we're folks like us, I guess, we're on a mission to change that and give people better, more modern approaches and tools. So.
Yeah, and something just came to my mind, like when we were talking about the IT teams and then like who should own which piece of technology. So what we have found in our experience is that like any single time, say you have a team member and that person say he's like running events, and in order to get anything done with the events, like if you can reduce the number of points of contact to get any job done, so the more people like that person has to go around, like the more friction, the more delays, the more work for everyone. So I think like as much as you can kind of like make it like make one person the point of contact and let him do everything, I think like that is better for every kind of job.
No, I'd agree for sure. So I think letting people focus and be focused on the core tasks that they need to get done, and comes back to removing menial tasks and work and automating things when we can. I think it's all connected together.
Actually, a good example, I think I should like talk about this example. So what we mean by this is that like, say if you're like responsible for MailChimp for running the campaigns, right? And then like you run into a MailChimp issue, but you have an in-house IT person. If you have an issue with MailChimp, you, the person like running the campaign, should open the support ticket to MailChimp. Do not go through IT for that, because you know your pain, you know your problem, you know how you use it. So you should interface with MailChimp and their support directly, not go through your IT to talk to MailChimp.
Yeah, 100%. You want to be empowered to be able to do that. And because, you have the best context, you know the problem you're experiencing. And, I think most of us have, gotten used to that day to day. We all use different software tools for all kinds of different things. And if you have a problem, you reach out to support, and, and that's pretty common. I think people should be empowered to do that. And get away from this older mindset from a technology standpoint, where it's like, oh, I'm having a problem, so it's IT's problem. It's like, well, if you're having a problem with this system, you should have a direct line of communication with that vendor to discuss that problem and see if they can help you.